at that time, when you're that sick and that pulled literally open, you have to just rely on other people. I get like emotional talking about that because I'm not wired that way. You just want to like, well, we're Midwesterners, you know. It's like, no, I've got it. I have 17 things to do tomorrow, but I'll bring the egg bake. No worries, it's fine. And then you just like silently suffer, right? But I'm a singer-songwriter and columnist, and I run an arts foundation in our community, and then, I run a ranch with my family. But there's a myth that's called balance that nobody has, but everyone talks about. And so I feel like my life, I'm lucky because all of it sort of is intertwined. I write about my life on the ranch, I sing about life on the ranch, and then I'm just so invested in music and the arts, and that's part of my job at the Art Foundation. So it's overwhelming only because I wish there was like 3 more of me to do all the ideas that I have. I moved back to my family's ranch. I didn't know what I was going to do, and I had grown up there and moved back 10, 11 years later to a community that was completely like flipping over on its head. I had 1,200 people in the community I grew up in, 10,000 people when we came back to the ranch. So there was a lot of story there, but I was more exploring what it meant for me to be back home as a 20-some-year-old and if I was going to stay there, because it never occurred to me that I could be back. It wasn't the era in which I was raised. The era in which I was raised was the outmigration of everyone from every rural place. And there was no narrative around bringing young people back. It was a hope and a wish, but it wasn't something that we ever thought would happen. I started there with just musing on that on a blog when blogs were a thing. I'm really living in a space where I'm aware and I'm thinking through these moments, and as a mother, it's become even more evident. If you're in the moment, you will have something to say about it, because there's so much to say about gratitude, even for these weird little mistakes that we make. So that's kind of the place that I write from. But sometimes it's, you have an idea in the middle of the night, and sometimes you have, the deadline is like right this second and you have no idea what you're gonna say. But I've been writing since I was a little kid, and it's all been sort of cathartic and sort of the therapy for me. And if sometimes I just sit down and start a sentence, and then I'll end the column and be like, I didn't know I was thinking that, but I'm glad it came out of me that way. And maybe that was the only way it would ever come out. Music's definitely been that way for me, writing music. Column has been really focused on being as personal and real as I can possibly be, because I think that's what I want to read. I want to read about the messy stuff so I can feel better about myself. I'm not alone in it. I have opinions, of course, and there's some days I sit down and I just want to tell everybody, like, I would be so mad about something, or there's an injustice that I feel is an injustice in the news. And right now, we are getting blasted with so much information. Our brains are not developed enough to deal with what we know, and I'm aware of that. And then I always have to go back to the mission statement for my own personal mission, and what is it? It's to speak my experience and the experience of my community, and it might not, sometimes I can address things based off of my own experience, but it's not my job to be a political columnist that's opinionated. That's not my job right now, and I'm not qualified for it. What I'm qualified to do is share my perspective of gratitude, of fear, of emotion in the Badlands of Western North Dakota and show people that here in the middle of nowhere, we are just like you too. And I don't know if that makes sense, but sometimes we can ostracize people with our opinions. And I don't want to do that because I want people to feel comfortable looking and hearing the story of a person raising kids in rural America and feel like there's a connection there without blocking them with my personal political opinions. Because you can shut out a lot of people and they will just shut their ears right off. What I'm writing about is how what's happening in my life is affecting me, or what's happening in the world is affecting us as ranchers or as mothers or parents, or, you know, being on a place with parents that are, you know, still generationally, you know, ranching and things. There's a lot to say without saying, you know, giving your big opinion about things. And that's just where I come from. Until recently, ranchers and agriculturalists have been terrible about telling their stories. And it's been because, well, we're busy, you know, and also very humble. And then there's a little bit of fear around being open and honest because you don't want to get, you know, questioned or attacked, or you just need to do your job. You just say the course. Now, though, more than ever, it's so much more important for us to be honest and open about what that means to be a family rancher, a family farmer, what that actually looks like. We have a calling to humanize the agriculture experience in America, or it's just dangerous if we don't. And that's where my mission lies, is in the storytelling. And so there are women, a lot of women, especially doing that for their ranches and for the industry, where they're really advocating and storytelling, doing a lot of it on social media. I'm here for your entertainment and to pull at your heartstrings and to show you the human side of it all, and that's where it lies for me, and it's fun.
Hey everybody, Joe Beaver here. We're promoting Hart Trailers. We're talking about the product. Let's just get into it. From the first weld to the last inspection, we as Hart have done all we can do to guarantee you've got the best trailer your money can buy. They pull good. I don't have any trouble with them. They are user friendly. I want you to know that if you have a doubt one, don't buy it, because there's somebody else that's gonna buy it right behind you.
Keith Maddox was a huge inspiration in my life. He was probably the most positive person that I ever met. When we were ever faced with a challenge and anything, he would say, "Don't worry about it, ain't nothing but a thing." We're wanting to keep his memory and his legacy alive, so that's what that stands for, Positive Times. We choose to look at everything that we do through a positive lens, not a negative lens.
We're more than a store. We're more than a brand. We are the lifestyle. We are all things Western. NRS.
Big Boy Toys.
Now I'm 40 years old, and I found that the best part of it all is talking about what this life is like here, and it always has been. That was the most interesting part of my job as a musician when I was young. That was the most interesting thing that people found out about me. I didn't know that was going to be the case. It was my weird accent, and the fact that I was from North Dakota on a ranch was strange, even to kids in Wisconsin. You know, it was. I'm a fourth generation on my family's ranch on my dad's side. The landscape of the Midwest is, when you're driving across North Dakota especially, you see like relics of places that didn't make it. The lilac bushes are always the thing that you see, maybe one of those buildings that just keeps tipping over, or an old maybe schoolhouse. But of course on a ranch like this, you have those things too. And I always say when you're on your family's place, you are surrounded by these memories, these kind of ghosts that are not your ghosts. They're other people's stories that you sort of like inherit and they kind of get in your skin. Anyway, I just didn't know this growing up, but I was poking around when I was there as moved back home as an adult. And in the lilac bushes down in the barnyard where we don't garden it anymore, we just have the horses graze there and the cockleburs grow up around these beautiful yellow roses. And they bloom every year, and they're domestic roses. And I asked my dad, like, what's with these yellow flowers that are growing? Well, those are your great-grandma Cornelia's roses. They're 80, at that time, 90-year-old plant that was just continuing to pop up year after year, despite all of the reasons it should not continue to grow. And that was such a metaphor to me when I moved back home of the hanging on through the generations and the idea that, you know, my family sacrificed a lot, and I say my immediate family, my dad and my mom, to be back there and take the ranch from my grandma, who died young. His dad died young too. Taking on the debt, taking on the burden, pushing through because the idea that you could have that for the next generation. Industry and economics changed that for a lot of people. But I just thought, well, what a thing to see these roses like climbing out of like the snarl of the weeds and getting trampled by the horses. They're holding on like we all have through these generations. And then they became more symbolic to me after I got sick. I was the same age, 36, that my great-grandma Cornelia was when she died there. And there I was, but I made it through just a hell of a time. And so, yeah, Yellow Roses is my great-grandpa Eddie's story that I wrote in a song and titled it. I had two little girls. At the time that I found out I had a cancerous tumor in my airway, they were 2 and 4, and we had waited for them a really long time. My husband and I had been married 10 years before we were able to have children. So we were just in our lives, like in the thick of it. And I was singing a lot and recorded an album and was having a lot of trouble breathing and went to the doctors. They couldn't figure it out, thought it was asthma. But when you're raising kids and doing your career and running around, a lot of times I was young and I'm healthy, it'll be fine. And it wasn't. It wasn't fine at all. It wound up being something that nearly killed me. I had a big tumor that was at the intersection of my lungs, blocking 90% of my airway. And when I finally got into a specialist, it was like emergency surgery at Mayo Clinic, and then a big surgery that cut me wide open. And as a singer and someone who public speaks for a living, and my voice is the thing that I use every day, that was a scary thing, but it wasn't something that I was worried about necessarily. I just wanted to be there for my kids. But it didn't hurt my voice, but I had a long recovery. That's something I'm still working with now, but cancer-free now, which is a blessing. And really, they got everything out. And we just have to do a 6-month scan every 6 months, a scan to check it and watch it. So that sickness that takes you down a notch and reminds you that, you know, you're just a fragile thing here. I've had those reminders with family members. My dad had been through some health scares, so I already knew. You know, you have that like, oh, now I know how that feels moment. Like you see these videos or movies where a sick person is in the hospital and you think you know how that feels until it actually happens to you. And then it's like, oh, no, like this is how that feels. I've thought of that with our infertility issues and job layoffs. Like, ooh, you have these things happen to you, not so you can wallow in it, but maybe so you can take care of the next person that's going through it. And I found that my community took such good care of my family when I was going through that surgery. I was away for 10 days. I remember they were gonna schedule the surgery and I was like, oh, they wanted to do it like in May. And I was like, can we wait for branding to be over so I can just do this normal thing before I don't know what's gonna happen to me? They didn't know if they didn't know if they were gonna get it. They didn't know if I was gonna come out of it. It was a major surgery. And what happened was you just hope that everyone has in their community. People sending you money, sending you food, It was during COVID, you couldn't go anywhere. We hunkered down on that ranch, and I will say this and people will think I'm crazy, but getting through that was one of the best things that's happened to me in my entire life. What a dumb thing to say, but it certainly was, because we took a step back as a family. I got to be in there with my kids. My husband was home with me. He'd been laid off an oil field job, started a construction company, pandemic hit, wife gets cancer. Whew, how are we gonna do this? Oh my God, the world was like, just settle down. That's what it was. It was like everyone just chill. And we had a lot of conversations about why we were here. And why are we here? To be on this place and raise our kids on this place. And that shifted a lot of our mentality and Chad's mentality. At that time, when you're that sick and that pulled literally open, you have to just rely on other people. I get like emotional talking about now because I'm not wired that way. You just want to like, well, we're Midwesterners, you know. It's like, no, I've got it. I have 17 things to do tomorrow, but I'll bring the egg bake. No worries, it's fine. And then you just like silently suffer, right? But I had no choice. I couldn't lift a carton of milk. Like I could not attack it. The way I had to attack it was to lay back and just let people take care of me. And, but also when I say lay back, I just mean, yeah, there's things I couldn't do. I couldn't lift my children even, you know. But every day I got outside. And that's been the thing when you're talking about anxiety and when you're making big calls and making, you know, things that are really risky, or you have big losses like I've had in times of desperation. The only thing that's helped me is climbing to the top of those hills and like screaming because no one can hear you. And it's acceptable out there, or crying, or, you know, or not saying anything, but just being there. That has been the biggest healer for me. And the reason I think that places like the ranch are so special and why I decided to share it.
My name is Amberly Snyder. I am a barrel racer and motivational speaker. Hart put together a trailer that is extremely accessible to me, that makes it possible for me to have more independence with my horses. I mean, truly something that is life-changing for me. If I'm gonna load my horse in a trailer, if I'm gonna take my horse somewhere, if I'm gonna put my best friend in a situation, they deserve the best. That's why I pull a Hart trailer.
From the moment you wake up in the morning, the steps you take determine the trajectory of your life. Where you'll go, the lives you'll impact, the legacy you'll leave. No matter how far you want to go, we'll be there to walk it with you. First International Bank and Trust, helping you live first every step of the way.
Hi, my name's Donna Kay Rule. I've been barrel racing closer to 50 years than 40, for sure. Hart has been in business since 1968, and they have never been known to shortcut anything. There's well thought out things, the head bumper where they back out, sometimes horses will throw their head up, comes with every trailer. You know, those kinds of specifics make a difference. So you should definitely go check out Hart Trailers. It's sure worth a look.
So the fun thing about songs is that they live beyond you. You can make one and see how it kind of makes its own little story in the world. You can only write what you know, and I'm not trying to write love songs. Not that I don't know love, not that I'm not in love, but write it from a different perspective. Write it from the perspective of a mother or a relationship that we've been in for 20 years. Like no one's writing those songs, or I'm not hearing them. They're not on radio right now. And I think those are the ones people can fall in love with more because they're in it. Yeah, I love Taylor Swift's song as much as the next person, but I'm not living in that falling in love moment right now. I'm living in the thick of it. So let's write about what we're doing in the thick of it, and that there can be some drama and some beauty and some passion in the thick of it.
Please don't knock, come right in the door. Take your boots off, boy, I just mopped the floor. Hang up your head now, come sit on down. I've got the coffee on, so nice to have you around. I've lived here almost all my life. He was a good man, boy, I was a good wife. Sometimes I catch myself fixing his cup. I lay his best shirt out, but when time's up, it's just up. When time's up, it's just up. You and me, we've got clover in our skin. We've got dirt under our nails and horses to tend. You and me, we don't ever sleep. We've got roots that run deep and a promise to keep, a promise to keep. Done my best to keep the hay crop up and the cattle fed. This life isn't easy without him around. It is the same kind of quiet, just lonelier now, just lonelier now. You and me, we've got clover in our skin. We've got dirt under our nails and horses to tend. You and me, we don't ever sleep. We've got roots that run deep and a promise to keep, a promise to keep, a promise to keep. Sometimes he comes back, his words out your lungs, his seat in your saddle, his hands in your glove. It could be a burden to inherit the work, but when God's in the tall grass, you live in his church, you live in his church, you live in his church. You and me, we've got clover in our skin. We've got dirt under our nails and horses to tend. You and me, we don't ever sleep. We've got roots that run deep and a promise to keep, a promise to keep, a promise to keep. You and me, we know all about the cold. We know that chill red barns, and people get old. People get old.